Hi everyone, I'm Xinxin. Today we are making Korean kimchi using traditional method. To split the Chinese cabbage in halves, first cut a slit through the base of the cabbage, then you can easily pull the halves apart. In this way, the leaves come out nicely. I do the same to cut them into quarters. To make kimchi, we first need to add salt to the leaves to soften them. But before we do that, I wash the leaves under cold running water, not only to get rid of the dirt and dust, but also make it easier for the salt to stay on the leaves. Lift each leaf up and sprinkle salt between the leaves. Use more salt closer to the stems where the leaves are thicker. The amount of salt we add is 2.5% of the weight of the cabbage. I'm using 3.1 kg cabbage today, so I use 78 grams salt in total. Repeat this process to all the cabbage quarters you've cut. Leave the salted cabbage in a clean basin on a big container resting for 2 hours. Turn over every 30 minutes so they get well salted. While we are waiting, we can make a porridge that goes into the kimchi paste. In a pot, add water and sweet rice flour, also known as glutinous rice flour. Mix well with a wooden spoon. Break all the lumps from the sweet rice flour. Let it cook on medium heat for 10 minutes. When the mixture starts to bubble, add sugar and let it cook for 1 minute more so that the sugar can dissolve. Once you achieve this smooth texture, leave it aside to cool down completely. Now we can start to prepare the veggies that goes into the porridge to make a kimchi paste. Peel the carrots. Cut the carrot into thin slices, then into matchsticks. Leave the carrot in the bowl. Then use the same method to cut daikon into matchsticks. Then chop spring onion into thin slices of circles. That's all the vegetables that will go into the porridge. In the meantime, don't forget to turn your cabbage around in every half an hour so that the cabbage gets evenly salted. Now let's make a kimchi seasoning that also goes into the porridge. I find it easier to use a blender. Add onion, ginger, garlic cloves, fish sauce, and Korean shrimp paste. If you can't find shrimp paste in the area where you live, you can use more fish sauce instead. Blend them together into a smooth mixture. Add this mixture to the porridge that you've made. Make sure the porridge is completely cooled down. Then add Korean hot pepper flakes, also known as gochugaru. How much gochugaru you add totally depends on how spicy you want your kimchi to be. I am adding quite a bit because I like my kimchi to be spicy, but reduce the amount of gochugaru if you want your kimchi to be milder. Mix the porridge, the Korean hot chili pepper, and the seasoning well with a wooden spoon. Then add this mixture to the vegetables that you've chopped. Alright, now we mix everything well in this bowl, and this is gonna be our kimchi paste that goes into the cabbage. I'm just using my bare hand because I'm used to chili, but if it's the first time to deal with the chili flakes, I recommend using a glove. Let's have a look at the cabbage after 2 hours. The leaves become much softer and more pliable. We need to wash the leaves under cold running water to remove all the extra salt. And if you have a big colander, drain them well in the big colander. I don't have one, so I'm just squeezing the water out, then leave them in a container. Repeat the process with every cabbage quarter that is in the sink. Wash, drain, and set them aside. By the way, if the cabbage core is too big, you can cut them off. Now comes to the final step of making kimchi. We have our drained cabbage and our kimchi paste. I like to put the cabbage just in the kimchi paste bowl. Now spread the kimchi paste on each leaf. Make sure each leaf is all covered with kimchi paste. Then wrap it around into a small roll and put it in your container. You can use a glass jar, but a food-grade plastic container is totally fine. Repeat the process with all the cabbage quarters. Don't fill the jar to completely full because a lot of water gonna come out of kimchi, and try to press down so no air will come in between. Give your container a brief clean and close the lid. The lactobacillus bacteria will do their work and convert sugar into lactic acid, and that's why kimchi become sour over time. The kimchi will start fermenting in a day or two at room temperature, depending on the temperature and humidity. This is after 2 days. Let's have a look. There is a lot of gas in my airtight container that the lid almost pops open. That is the first sign of fermenting. The second sign is that when you press the kimchi down, you can see the bubbles coming out of the water. Have a taste of the kimchi. If it tastes sour and smells sour, you can actually put them in the fridge to slow down the fermenting. Before I put them in the fridge, I always press them down to make sure they are submerged in the kimchi brine to prevent the risk of contamination. But you don't need to wait for kimchi to ferment to enjoy it. Actually, freshly made kimchi is just as yummy. Every time when I make kimchi, I will reward myself with some freshly made kimchi topped up with some toasted sesame seeds and white rice. Thank you everyone. This is Xinxin. See you next time.